Today we are joined by Dr. Raleigh Duncan of Clearlight Saunas. So let's just get straight into it. I want to dive deeper into infrared. Can you tell us about your products, Dr. Raleigh?
Sure. I founded the company almost 30 years ago, and infrared saunas were very young back then and not very known. But infrared is infrared sauna that actually heats the body in a different way than the regular box of hot rocks sauna or Finnish type sauna that people are familiar with. And so that means instead of heating up the air with a box of hot rocks, we're using the wavelengths of infrared. We have heaters hopefully all around you. That's how we design our saunas, behind you, to the sides, in front of you, and hopefully below the head. And the wavelength of infrared is very healing. We give out infrared from our bodies. So we're putting infrared into the soft tissue, and we'll go in an inch, possibly an inch and a half into the body, and it heats the body directly. Very safe, and you can feel it therapeutically in the body. You can feel pain relief and things of that nature. But that's basically what we're doing. We're heating the body with very safe infrared heat to get you to the point of perspiration, detoxification, relaxation, instead of having to breathe in very hot air that gets stifling sometimes. So the air does
Um,
get warm, but it's not stifling. That would be the biggest difference.
Excellent. And so really, what are the main benefits of infrared? You did touch on a couple there, but the main
Yeah.
benefit for someone using infrared.
Sure. Well, I'll go back and just give a list. So detoxification, there have been many studies uh, that show and will analyze the sweat and see what type of chemicals or heavy metals come out. And so that's been shown. It also has an effect of reducing stress, and that is caused by many different parts of the systems that get activated by the infrared and the heat. You get a vasodilation in the blood vessels. You get a reduction of pain. And I'll actually get the heart, we'll get the heart rate up as if you were working out, just sitting in the infrared sauna. So we have pain reduction and also boosting the immune system and detoxification. And all this happens from just sitting in there. And there's just so many different studies that have come out. There's large studies that show heart health and the difference between your risk of coronary disease depending on how many times you use a sauna in a week's time. So just landmark, there was a big study that 2,500 middle-aged men over a period of 20 years and showed over 50% reduction in sudden cardiac death, cardiac disease. And then it went on, if you would use a sauna 4 times a week, and then went on to say that all-cause mortality was affected over 40% for the people that used the sauna 4 to 7 times a week versus someone that only uses sauna once a week. So just landmark, big study. So those are some of the
Fantastic.
benefits. Yeah.
That's a lot of benefits in a touchless wellness technology there. Now,
Yes.
some people might have think we've scripted this, but I didn't tell you the questions. My next question was, how long should people go in, or
Ah,
sorry, how often should people have a session?
yeah. So I try to take a sauna. If I'm traveling, I don't always have an infrared sauna. I will take a regular sauna. They have great benefit as well, at least 4 times a week. So that's sort of the standard where I think I'm keeping my heart and all these other things at bay. There's so many things that happen. And I don't know in the 10 questions if you'll go into all of them, but things like heat shock proteins are generated in the body by sitting in the sauna. And they're very important in refolding proteins that when proteins go awry, they will start to unfold. And this can be, then they'll start to clump, and this could be amyloid in the brain, things of that nature. And heat shock proteins that are generated when you get in the sauna will go in, they'll refold the proteins. Or if the proteins are actually, they're called senescent. They're like zombies. They're not dead and they're not really alive. And the heat shock proteins will usher them out so they don't start to stick together. Anyway, so 4 times a week seems to be the gold standard, and it's really only necessary 20 minutes. So that's about what I do.
Fantastic. That was my next question. How long is each
Okay.
session?
Yeah. Well, that's a very common question. Yeah, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And think of it, and I love the touchless wellness because touchless wellness for me is stating that you don't really have to do anything. But just go and sit somewhere in our sauna, listen to some music, or I do books on tape or whatever you like. And all this healing is happening. So why is that important? Because most people, like for exercise, this is the time of year that everybody's exercising and then it falls off. But with the
Mhm.
sauna usage, where you just, or any type of touchless wellness, you patient compliance or people compliance, let's say, because we're all
Yeah.
people, is
It's
much
more
higher.
sustainable, isn't it?
It
Um,
is.
so if someone was to start doing infrared, how long would it take them, or how many sessions might it take them to start feeling the benefits?
It's pretty amazing because I've been doing this, like I said, almost 30 years, infrared saunas. And the first thing we hear from people within a few sessions, or definitely in the first week, is, wow, my skin is so much softer. I got the sauna because I wanted to detox or relax or remove pain or whatever, but I didn't know my skin would be softer. So people will see benefits within the first week normally, or I'm sleeping better, things like that. It's quite amazing. That's what keeps me going.
Well, it's definitely working. Um, so I'm going to switch over to some more business type related questions now.
Sure.
So why should businesses consider adding this piece of touchless tech to their offerings?
So the greatest part about it is that people keep coming back. Many people can't really, they don't have the space to put a sauna in their home. So it has a little addictive quality to it, and that's feeling good. So there have been times where I don't know, I've just gotten out of the habit in the last 30 years, or life got too fast, or things were coming up, and I didn't take a sauna for a period of time, a couple weeks, or I guess the longest I've ever gone is a month. And then I'll go back and I'll have this renewal of, oh my gosh, I'd forgotten. I feel so much better. And I'm in the sauna business. And so the average person, you just kind of forget. So that's what happens to the people coming into your location, into your business, is they will get this feeling of wellness, of well-being, of peace, of muscle relaxation, of reduction of pain. And so it's something that is I don't know, it's addictive in that way.
Mm. And that's your repeat custom. So getting people coming back again and
Yes.
again is great for business,
You
obviously.
you get a lot of bang for your buck, I think would be not in just investment of time, but investment of space and what it does for you. Yeah.
Well, now that you mention investment, that was one of my other questions.
Yeah.
So, what kind of, when you're talking with businesses, do you give them any guidance on how much they might charge per session, and also what is the average return on investment they might look to achieve?
So it depends on the area. Well, I know this may be a little dated. It probably is because cost seems to have risen, or prices have gone up post-COVID. This is not COVID adjusted, but we used to say maybe $1 a minute, somewhere in that range. It's probably more now, and it kind of depends on the spa, the location, the clientele, and all that. But people regularly will pay that. And then I don't know if you've seen also, there are many businesses here in the US and abroad of just sort of sauna centers where you'll have a place and you just go, and just like the old tanning bed thing, but instead you have a sauna and people can go in there, infrared sauna, and use it alone. And they're being very successful, and that's the only thing they're promoting.
Okay.
So
So if you're running 20 to 30-minute sessions, let's say, you can actually get quite a few sessions in a day, which would lead to quite a swift return on investment, I'm guessing.
yeah, and usually I think in spas and different health retreats, they'll give a longer period of time for people to relax and
Hmm.
maybe come out. and people are going in maybe for other treatments, and they can do at least a half an hour. Some places in the sauna centers, they'll give them a whole hour to relax and come in and out. It's more luxurious, but yeah, every center is a little different. Every business is a little different, as you know.
Yes. And so when people are purchasing Clearlight saunas, obviously you offer some customer support. Are you able to tell us a little bit about what support and training Clearlight can offer?
So support and training, it depends on the need. We will tailor whatever is necessary. It's actually very simple to relay the information. The biggest part of it is just to be able to relay what I just said
Hmm.
about the benefits of the unit itself. The units themselves, the saunas are very simple, uh, pretty low maintenance as far as upkeep. If you would compare it, let's say, to a spa, a whirlpool, or what they would call a jacuzzi over here, a lot of maintenance, a lot of chemicals, a lot of upkeep. We have a line of our regular consumer products, and then for commercial, we make a little upgraded product that does things like puts a metal tread plate and a floor that you can take out and replace over time, or just take out and sand.
Hmm.
And we've clocked in the commercial locations that the doors are open and closed maybe 30,000 times. So we have extra beefy systems for that. And so we become the leader in commercial type saunas, infrared saunas. So anyway, the long story is the maintenance is low. The message is the clearer you can keep it, and we'll give you bullet points just to put in on the front desk. This is what you get, and keep it very simple. Most people
Yeah.
just want to know what are the benefits of going in here, and it's quite something in the and maybe have a little research pamphlet. The research is voluminous, if I'm saying that right. There's a lot of it.
And just from an installation point of view, a lot of your products are plug and play, aren't they? That's the beauty of a lot of touchless wellness is it is plug and play. There's not a huge amount of electrical or MEP requirements for these cabins.
In the larger ones, you will need over here in the States. We're in 220 land, where it's much easier in Europe and UK because you're more familiar with that. So here in the US, many people will have to run a dedicated line. But other than that, we build the saunas as what we call a knockdown kit. The walls themselves are all finished inside and out. The heaters are on, the wiring is in, and you just basically put the floor down, and the walls interconnect, and then the top goes on. And then anywhere there's electrical connection, it just plugs in. So it's very simple. There's no plumbing, there's no ventilation required. If you try it in one room and you say it would go better over here, it's not such a big deal to just change it out. So that's one of the
Fantastic.
beautiful part of the whole system.
Excellent. And one final question. Are there any other technologies that you would say go well with infrared that you would have alongside it? So if someone was going to do infrared, what else might they think of doing?
I'm glad you asked that question, because this has been an emerging raison d'etre, a rationale that we have at Clearlight. And the idea goes something like this. Once I have you in the sauna for a period of time, people don't have a lot of time in their lives. So if they're going to invest, let's say, a half an hour, what else can I do in that half an hour while you're sitting in the sauna? So we've come up with our own patented red light tower, and we mount it on the door of the sauna. And we have our own a halo unit, salt unit, and that mounts on the side inside the sauna. And we're always coming up. We have vibration, resonant healing, sound healing, things like that, chromotherapy, aromatherapy. So while you're in the sauna for that period of time, I'll give you an example. Our halo unit, um, you could have at the front desk. It's portable, it's battery operated, it's quite beautiful, won some design awards, and it works very well. So you could say to the customer, would you like to upgrade to the salt in your session. And so then it's very easy to put that unit on the wall. So while you're sitting there, those are some of the things that we're doing, and we're not stopping. We're still adding more things and looking at ways that we can maximize that time for healing and hit all the bases.
That's fantastic. Well, I think we've run out of time there, but in the future, I'm sure we will need to get you back on to give us an even deeper dive into the world of infrared. But thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.